class number 34. Today we are going to study the commercial forms of iron. You see, commercial forms of iron. So, commercial forms of iron, we know that you see, one is pig iron, cast iron, and third one is wrought iron. Wrought, W-R-O-U-G-H, wrought iron. So that means commercial forms of iron. We have three commercial forms of iron. Iron exists in three commercial forms. One is pig iron, second one is cast iron, third one is wrought iron. What actually meaning of these three commercial forms you see? First one is pig iron you see. So this pig iron is nothing but the iron which is obtained from the blast furnace. We know that you see, in the blast furnace, after the formation of iron, the molten cast iron comes down, during which it absorbs some of the impurities like carbon, sulfur, manganese, phosphorus, etc., which contains about 4% of carbon. 4% of carbon. And this molten iron, okay, which it is passed into the small cylindrical parts. You see, small cylindrical parts, and those small cylindrical parts are called the pigs. P-I-G-S, pigs. What are pigs? Pigs are nothing but the small cylindrical parts in which we are going to pour this that is molten iron. You see, that molten iron gets solidified in the parts. You see, therefore it is called the pig iron. You see, so that is pig iron is nothing but the iron which is obtained by passing the molten iron into the small cylindrical parts called as the pigs. Hence it is called the pig iron, which contains how much of carbon? 4% of carbon. That is the pig iron. So next, coming to the cast iron, you see. So this cast iron is nothing but the iron which is obtained by heating the pig iron. Heating the pig iron with the scrap iron. S-C-R-A-P, scrap iron. So that means cast iron is obtained by heating the pig iron along with the scrap iron. Waste pieces of iron is called the scrap iron, and that is along with, you see, the little coke. You see, coke. That means pig iron is heated with scrap iron and coke in a that is a blast by heating with a blast of hot air. You see, so that pig iron is converted into, that is, cast iron. So then, what is the difference between pig iron and cast iron? So this cast iron contains only 3% of carbon. You see, it is hard and brittle. It is hard and what? Brittle. Which one is hard and brittle? Cast iron. It is hard and brittle. It contains 3% of carbon, and it is obtained by heating the pig iron along with the scrap iron, waste iron, as well as coke in a reverberator furnace with excess of blast of hot air. So that pig iron is converted to cast iron, which contains about 3% of carbon, and some of the impurities have been oxidized, and some metal oxides are also reduced by this coke. You see. So next, third one is wrought iron. So this wrought iron is the purest form of iron. You see. What is wrought iron? It is the purest form of iron, and this wrought iron is obtained by heating. That is heating the cast iron. You see, heating the cast iron by adding hematite ore. You see, by adding hematite. Hematite means Fe2O3. You know that Fe2O3. Fe2O3 is called the hematite ore. So now the cast iron is converted into wrought iron by heating with hematite ore. So that you see, hematite ore will oxidize the carbon impurity into carbon monoxide. Carbon impurity into what? Carbon monoxide. How actually you see, that is Fe2O3 plus 3C gives rise to that is 2Fe plus 3CO. You see, 3CO. That means, you see, all the carbon present in the that is wrought iron is oxidized by the hematite ore into carbon monoxide. You will be getting pure form of iron. You see. Therefore, it is malleable iron. It is not that is strong. It is malleable. You see. There is no carbon. So what it means, you see, as the percentage of carbon increases, the strength of the metal also what? Increases. Iron also increases. As the carbon percentage increases, tensile strength increases. The potential energy of that metal is increases. The strength will be increases. But as you decrease the carbon, the that is strength of the iron, that is metal also decreases. So therefore you see, as soon as you remove all the carbon present in this iron, you see, you will be getting only pure form of iron. The purest form of iron is called as the, that is wrought iron. Which is the purest form of iron? Wrought iron, which does not contain any impurities, as well as that means carbon percentage is also very less. Therefore it is called the malleable iron. What is that? Malleable iron. So these are the three commercial forms of iron. Okay. So after that you see, so that completes actually the iron extraction and commercial forms of iron. So after that you see, we have, that is the extraction of copper. You see, copper metallurgy, copper metallurgy. So this copper metallurgy, so that is extraction of copper from that is your copper pyrites. You see, copper pyrites. What is the formula for copper pyrites? It is sulfide ore, which is nothing but CuFeS2. What is the formula for copper pyrites? CuFeS2. Now, from copper pyrites, we have to extract the copper. How actually? So it is also pyrometallurgy. You see, it is also pyrometallurgy. So therefore, copper is extracted from copper metallurgy. Starting from, you see, you have to subject this copper pyrites into concentration method, roasting method, and then your smelting. So finally we have one more that is step which is called the bessemerization process. You see, first is concentration of the ore. First, concentration of ore. First step is concentration of ore. The copper pyrites is concentrated by froth flotation. Why? Because it is sulfide ore. You see, copper pyrites is a sulfide ore. It is concentrated by froth flotation method. So that is concentrated ore. That is the copper pyrites ore is concentrated by froth flotation. So next, second step, roasting. So that is concentrated copper pyrites is heated with excess of air in a reverberatory furnace, so that you see the following changes take place. You know that, so moisture is present, last carbon sulfur impurities are last as the volatile oxides, carbon sulfur arsenic impurities are last as the volatile oxides, and then the copper pyrites now is converted into a mixture of cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide. So this is the that is change takes place in the that is roasting process. You see, so that is the copper pyrites, concentrated copper pyrites is heated in the reverberatory furnace with excess of air, so that carbon sulfur arsenic impurities are lost as their volatile oxides. So moisture is lost, mass becomes compact. If compact, it becomes porous. So finally, the copper pyrites ore, you see, copper pyrites means CuFeS2. That is 2CuFeS2 plus O2. So heating, you see, roasting. So then it is nothing but roasting, you see, heating process. So now you will be getting a mixture of cuprous sulfide, CuPs plus 2FeS plus 2SO2. So this is the that is SO2. That's all. SO2. Only SO2. That means sulfur dioxide gas is liberated. So that means you see the copper pyrites is converted into a mixture of cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide. So this is called the cuprous sulfide, and it is called the ferrous sulfide. So this is a mixture, you see, you are going to get in this method, that is which method? Roasting method. And some of the cuprous sulfide is converted into cuprous oxide. So first change is, that is copper pyrites is converted into cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide. In the same process, you see, some of the cuprous sulfide is converted into cuprous oxide, undergoes oxidation. Here itself, that is 2Cu2s plus 3O2. You will be getting 2Cu2O plus 2SO2. So that is cuprous sulfide. Some of the cuprous sulfide is converted to cuprous oxide. So these are the two steps takes place in the roasting. You see. Next, third step. It is nothing but smelting stage. You see. You know that what is the important that is substances to be added during smelting? we have to add a suitable flux and suitable reducing agent. What is that? Suitable flux and suitable reducing agent. See here. So in this melting stage, the roasted ore, see here, roasted ore is mixed with suitable flux and suitable reducing agent. Here you see. So that is suitable flux here in this copper. Flux is sand or silica. Sand. It is nothing but SiO2. You know that. Sand. And coke. Coke is nothing but reducing agent. That means in this melting stage, the roasted ore is mixed with sand, silica, acts as flux, and the coke acts as reducing agent. And this mixture is heated in a blast furnace. You see, which type of furnace? Blast furnace with excess of air, so that all the all the cuprous sulfide is converted into cuprous oxide. See here. During this melting stage, all the cuprous sulfide is converted into cuprous oxide. Like this, you see. That is same reaction you can write. You see. That is 2Cu2S plus 3O2. You will be getting 2Cu2O plus 2SO2. This reaction will occur again. So simultaneously, all the cuprous sulfide is converted to cuprous oxide, and the sulfur dioxide is liberated. Now, the ferrous sulfide, you see, this ferrous sulfide which is present, it is undergoes oxidation to ferrous oxide, you see. That is FeO, 2FeO, that is ferrous sulfide, FeS, 2FeS plus 3O2 gives rise to 2FeO plus 2SO2 will be given. And this ferrous sulfide is oxidized to ferrous oxide. This ferrous oxide further reacts with the silica impurity, that means flux silica, you will be getting ferrosilicate slag. FeO further reacts with the sand SiO2, you will be getting FeSiO3 slag. FeSiO3 slag. So this ferrosilicate slag being lighter than the molten metal forms the upper layer. At this temperature, at the temperature of 500 to 600 Kelvin, you see, so cuprous oxide, so that is Cu2O, is reduced by coke, you see, giving, that is cuprous oxide, that is copper plus carbon monoxide, that is CO. That means, you see, this ferrosilicate, it is called the slag. This ferrosilicate slag being lighter than the molten metal forms the upper layer. Okay. Now the lower layer mainly contains cuprous sulfide. You see, cuprous sulfide, that is Cu2S, and traces of ferrous sulfide. That means just here. So after this melting stage at the end, so that is the lower layer mainly contains cuprous sulfide. Traces of ferrous sulfide. Mainly contains cuprous sulfide and traces of ferrous sulfide. And this mixture is called the copper matta. That is copper matte or matta. You see, MATT. So that means at the end of the smelting stage, you are going to get not the molten metal. You will be getting a mixture called a mixture of cuprous sulfide, mainly cuprous sulfide, and traces of ferrous sulfide. Almost all the FeS is converted to FeO, and FeO is converted to FeSiO3. But here you see, it contains lower layer mainly contains lower liquid, mainly contains cuprous sulfide and traces of ferrous sulfide. This mixture is called the copper matta. So it is subjected to bessemerization at the end. You see, bessemerization process. So I am going to write this bessemerization process here. You see, let me write that here. So this is bessemerization. You see now, bessemerization. Bessemerization. So during bessemerization, what happens, you see? So this copper matta is taken and it is mixed with more silica again, sand, and it is heated in the Bessemer converter, which is lined with the silica again. You see. Remember, cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide is called the copper matta. Copper matta is obtained at the end of the smelting stage. So therefore, this copper matta is taken, mixed with more sand, which is called the silica, and this mixture is heated in that is a silica lined Bessemer converter. You see, there is a small big cylindrical drum in which inner side is that is coated with silica, you see, sand. So therefore that is called that is silica-lime Bessemer converter. What is that? Silica-lime Bessemer converter. In which you are going to take which one? That is copper matta is mixed with more silica, and this mixture is taken in the that is a silica-lime Bessemer converter, and it is heated with excess of air again. So that almost at this stage you see all the cuprous sulfide now, almost all the cuprous sulfide, that is 2Cu2S is converted into, you see, Cu2S plus 3O2, you will be getting 2Cu2O plus SO2, that is 2SO2, and all the cuprous sulfide is converted to cuprous oxide, and this cuprous oxide form is again react with the remaining cuprous sulfide, you see, that is 2Cu2O plus Cu2S, you see, Cu2O, this one, plus Cu2S, if any, you will be getting 6Cu, that is 2 to the 4 plus 2, 6Cu, and the SO2 you will be getting, you see, SO2. So that means you see, all the cuprous sulfide now converted to cuprous oxide. The cuprous oxide again formed reacts with the remaining cuprous sulfide, forming metallic copper and liberating sulfur dioxide gas. This sulfur dioxide gas liberated will leave the surface of the metal, molten metal, leaving some holes on the metal, you see, leaving some holes on the metal. So those are called the blisters. So therefore it is called the blister copper, you see. It is also called the blister copper. What is blister copper? Blister copper is nothing but the copper which is obtained at the end of the Bessemerization, where sulfur dioxide gas liberated will lose the surface of the molten metal copper. Those small holes on the copper are called as the blisters, hence it is called the blister copper. And then all the FeS is converted to FeO, and FeO reacts with SiO2, you will be getting FeSiO3. According to the equation you see, that is FeS, 2FeS plus 3O2, you will be getting 2FeO plus 2SO2. This is first equation, that is FeO plus SiO2, you will be getting FeSiO3. Ferrosilicate slab. So this is the another equation takes place in the Bessemer converter, you see. So that means again I am going to explain. So that is copper extraction of copper from copper pyrites. So copper pyrites are the sulfide ores. So therefore copper pyrites are first step is concentration. So copper pyrites are concentrated by your Froth flotation method. First step. Second step, roasting. So that is concentrated copper pyrites is roasted. It is heated with excess of air in a reverberative furnace, so that moisture is lost, mass becomes that is porous, and your cuprous, that is copper pyrites. The copper pyrites is converted into a mixture of cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide. Here you see cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide. You have this equation here, I suppose. Where? Remove that. Cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide. Here you see. So that is copper pyrites undergoes oxidation in terms of roasting. You see, when it is heated, it undergoes it is converted into a mixture of cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide, liberating sulfur dioxide gas. And there itself, some of the cuprous sulfide is oxidized to cuprous oxide again. Okay. So these are the two equations in the roasting. Next, coming to the smelting stage, you see. In the smelting stage, roasted ore is taken. You see, roasted ore. What is roasted ore? Cuprous sulfide, ferrous sulfide. That one. So therefore, during the roasting, you see, roasted ore is mixed with more silica or sand, which acts as flux, and coke acts as reducing agent. And this mixture is heated in a that is blast furnace with excess of air, so that all the FeS is converted to FeO, and this FeO reacts with SiO2, giving FeSiO3 slag. And cuprous sulfide is converted to little of amount of the cuprous sulfide is converted to cuprous oxide and liberating sulfur dioxide. At 500 to 600 Kelvin, you see, the cuprous some of the cuprous oxide is converted to copper actually. So this ferrosilicate slag being far lighter than the molten metal for the upper layer. So again you see at the end of the smelting stage, you see, at the lower liquid we have mixture of there is mainly cuprous sulfide and traces of ferrous sulfide. So that means you see the lower liquid in the smelting stage mainly contains cuprous sulfide and traces of ferrous sulfide. This mixture is called copper matta or molten matta or copper matta. What is copper matta? It is a mixture it is taken to the Bessemerization process. So in the Bessemerization process, the copper matta is mixed with more silicon, and this mixture is heated in a silica lined Bessemer converter with excess of air, so that all the FeS is converted to FeO, and FeO reacts with the SiO2 giving the ferrosilicate slag. And the cuprous sulfide now undergoes that is oxidation, so giving cuprous oxide, and this cuprous oxide further reacts with the remaining cuprous sulfide there itself, so forming metallic copper. It is called the auto reduction, you see. We are not adding any reducing agent here. So cuprous sulfide is converted to cuprous oxide, but cuprous oxide will reduce us the remaining cuprous sulfide into metallic copper. That is called the auto reduction, we know that. So metallic copper and liberating sulfur dioxide gas. It is very, very important to see. The sulfur dioxide gas liberated will form some holes on the molten copper, you see. Why? Because the sulfur dioxide gas will escape out. Sulfur dioxide, it is a gas, you see. So the gas will use the surface of the metal. When it leaves the surface of the metal, it forms some holes. It forms some holes on the metal. When the gas molecules leave the surface, it forms some holes on the metal. So these small holes on the metal formed by the sulfur dioxide are called the blisters, you see. Therefore, the copper is called the blister copper due to the some holes present on the metal. So this is how we can extract the copper metal from copper, starting from copper ferrets. It is there is a 3 to 4 mark question, we see. So if it is 3 mark question, the question will be how is there is blister copper obtained from roasted ore. The question is like that, you see, roasted ore. You have to start with smelting them. So it is need not write roasting and concentration process, you see. If it is 4 mark question, you have to write all the equations. Okay. So this is how you have to write the procedure for the extraction of copper from copper ferrets. Okay. So we will stop this. We will continue next time.